Hey, it is Bill Gross, the LAProbate Continuing my interview series. Today, I want to talk to somebody who I know both as a colleague in a networking group I belong to, as well as a real estate professional, specifically in the mortgage industry. The person that we're going to talk to today is Billy Florio, and Billy is an originator with Crosscountry Mortgage. And he'll tell you kind of the programs and such that he runs. So I wanted to bring to the call here Billy Florio. Welcome, Billy. How are you doing?
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure. Let me get you on the screen here so we can see you. For eye candy for the ladies. Great. So, Billy, tell me a little bit. Let's start with you personally. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Rhode Island originally.
Yeah. Wow, I'll get that often very often. So I'm from Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. And do you go to college, high school in Rhode Island?
I went to high school in Rhode Island. I went to college in Connecticut at the University of New Haven, where I actually majored in music and sound recording. And then that's what brought me up to Los Angeles to do that originally. Yeah.
Wow. And so growing up in Rhode Island, you're a Celtics fan?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I was more into football and baseball, but
Patriots fan?
Yeah.
Red Sox fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I married one of you. My wife is from Belmont, Massachusetts, so I grew up with those infectious diseases. I grew up with all that.
Oh, okay. It's going to be like that. That's cool.
I actually took her to an away Patriots game almost every year for a long time. So now she's a Tampa Bay fan, as you can imagine.
Of course, yeah. I watched that Super Bowl as if it was the Patriots.
Exactly. So you went to college in Connecticut in music and sound. And then how did you get from where you are into the mortgage industry and the real estate industry?
So I did music and sound for like 4 years out here. And then I met my now fiance, and we kind of started talking about investing in real estate further down the line. Mm-hmm. And once we kind of knew we wanted to do that, I started learning about like what kind of mortgage will we get. And when I started doing that, that kind of got me really hooked on the mortgage industry. And my mom had done it when I was growing up. She does reverse mortgages now, but
nice.
Yeah, but I always remembered her talking about it. So I thought it was something interesting, and now I'm doing it, and I love it.
You love it. So you're a loan officer with Crosscountry Mortgage. Tell me what's the main product or service that you're offering people today?
Today, mainly, refinances out of FHA into conventional, refinances in general for anyone who missed out on the lower rates in the middle of the pandemic. A lot of people were taking advantage of those, but they're still really low. So I've been trying to get people to do that. And I'm big on lately. I've been, working with a lot of first-time home buyers. I got a borrower right now that I'm trying to help get their first home going. They're really excited, but of course they're really stressed.
Sure, it's tough. Tough time for first-time home buyers. So let's go back a little bit. You said you're taking people from FHA to conventional loans. I think I know why that is, but why would somebody want to move from an FHA loan, which is government, isn't that better, to a conventional? What's the advantage to the borrower?
Well, the advantage to the borrower will be, first of all, the lower mortgage insurance, because when you get an FHA loan, it's always 0.85% of the loan amount. So every month, the mortgage insurance payment is always fixed, and it's a lot higher on FHA because it's always that number. But when you have a loan to value ratio that's lower with conventional, then you can take advantage of the lower mortgage insurance rates.
So you have two things happening, if I can recap. One is that going from an FHA to conventional eliminates almost a 1 percentage point increase on the mortgage rate, 0.85 you said, right?
Right.
So now your rate could possibly be, all things equal, that much lower.
Exactly.
And then second, people bought a house a year ago. If it goes up 15, 20% like it has in last year, maybe they only put 5 or 10% down. Now they're at an 8% loan to value. They don't need the private mortgage insurance. So now they can save money that way as well. Does that sound about right?
I couldn't have said that better myself.
Well, I did that I don't know, I told you, but I was a mortgage lender for the first 10, 15 years of my real estate.
That's right. I remember you telling me that. I thought that was awesome.
And to this day, I still am a partner in a mortgage coaching company, and we coach mortgage officers. I know the business a little bit. So working with first-time home buyers, tell me why, if I was a first-time home buyer, why would I want to work with you rather than walking into my bank at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, or some other corporate nightmare scenario? Why would I why would I rather work with you?
Well, I mean, going into a bank, like Bank of America, they're very fixed on their rates. They're not as flexible as a broker service like Crosscountry would be. And we have access to all these different first-time homebuyer programs. Like I'm just finishing up getting certified with Calahafa right now, and they're a great down payment assistance program. They can help with your closing costs too if you don't have enough capital to get cash to close. So we just have a much broader range of services, and that allows us to be much more T-shaped for whatever kind of borrower that we might encounter.
Ultimately, if I apply for a loan with you, where's the person work who makes the decision if I get the loan or not? Where's the underwriter? Where's the decision maker on that file actually at?
So they're located down in Carlsbad because I work remotely. I was hired during the pandemic, and I'm based out of Burbank, and they're way down in Carlsbad. So they've been really cool with letting me stay remote. So I would obviously I'm in touch with my team all the time. So that's where the underwriter and processors would be.
Have you been to the Carlsbad office yet?
Oh yeah, a few times.
Yeah, what's that like?
It feels really nice being there. I just wish it wasn't so far away.
Carlsbad's beautiful. I mean,
it's a
great place to go. Find some excuse to go to Carlsbad as often as you can. I used to work for a company based in La Jolla, and it wasn't hard to want to go down there and to see the corporate, but it's a tough drive. And how Carlsbad is where the corporate office is, or is the regional office, or what's in Carlsbad?
It's just the regional branch. I mean, we have branches all over the country. The headquarters is in Ohio, Cleveland.
Okay. So I'm sure you deal with a number of different prospects and customers. And I think I have my own experience in this, but I'm curious about yours. What is it that the people who are successful, some people say it's impossible to get a loan today. Others, get one and brag about what they've gotten. What is it that helps a borrower get the best result? What can somebody who's a homeowner or a prospective first-time home buyer, what can they do to prepare themselves to get the best possible outcome with you?
I would say, just have you need to be as informed as you can, and that's my job, to tell you what kind of documents you need to have ready, because things like that can hold up the process. If we don't have the documentation to verify your income or your living history, your employment. So having those can really make all the difference of a smooth experience versus a rough experience. And then, just save up as much money as you can. I mean, the down payment assistance programs are available to you, but I mean, honestly, I think it's just better to be able to afford the down payment on your own and not take the extra, interest rates that are going to be given to you through the down payment assistance programs. Yeah.
Do you find that oftentimes buyers are difficult to get the documents up front? Like they'll say to you, well, I don't really want to get all that right now. I want to look for a house first. Do you find that happening?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I'll talk to borrowers before they even really start looking.
Right.
So I'll try to get them, pre-qualified before they even get to a place where they're even working with an agent yet. So I can, ideally pair them up with one of our partners. But it's very difficult to get them to have everything all at once, especially because they don't always know where to access it, like bank statements and stuff. And, but that's stuff that I can help them with.
I being a real estate agent, I don't really work with buyers as much. My focus is listings. But when I do get buyers who call me, it's just shocking to me how they'll say, well, we don't want to get everything ready. And I'll say, as a listing agent, I would never even consider your offer without a pre-approval letter that says they've reviewed your credit, your income, your down payment. In a competitive environment, you're not even going to get on the table. And yet it's amazing to me how buyers insist, well, they know better, and they're going to be the one person who's going to get the best price on a competitive house, and yet not prepare or work hard before to get that. And on one hand, that's frustrating. On the other hand, that's the job we have. So is there anything particularly you do to try to help that buyer understand the market that we're into? Is there any particular process?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that kind of goes back to the down payment assistance. Like it's much harder to get an offer accepted when the seller, knows that that's part of the deal. So you want to, try to make the buyer's offer as appetizing as you can, even though, you're not the real estate agent, but what the buyer can afford and what they can't afford. Right. So you want to put them in the best position. Sometimes it can be a struggle, especially if they don't have that much money to get the down payment, and you don't want to tell them, well, maybe it's just not the right time for you to buy a house. Maybe you should wait until prices come down. But because to a point, you have to do that because you have to be the financial advisor to them in this situation.
Right. And be honest with them, whether it's what they want to hear or not, you got to at some point be honest with them about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I had a lady on the phone today. I swear we spoke for half an hour. She came to an accountant who referred her to me on the phone from their office. And it's like every time I told her, she'd ask me a question, I give her an answer, and then she'd argue with me. And then she'd ask a question, I give her an answer, and she'd argue with me. And at the end, I said, well, it sounds like you're going to do what you want to do anyhow. I wish you luck. If you have a problem, call me. But I'm thinking to myself, man, there's no way she's back. And she's an investor who has to identify her property in the next 2 weeks, and she's surprised that she hasn't had success over the last 90 days or so. And I said to her, well, maybe what you're doing isn't working. I don't know. Taking a stab at it.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to get that across sometimes. And maybe having this video, you can send this to a borrower, and there'll be a nice way to say to them, either do what because I'll tell you what I tell buyers all the time. Do whatever the lender says they need to get a pre-approval letter, or don't even waste your time.
Right.
It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the aggravation of looking for a house if you're not going to be ready to buy.
Exactly. And like, especially the past year, I know a lot of realtors weren't even showing people houses if they didn't already have the approval ready to go.
I wouldn't. I'd be polite about it, but between me and you as a businessman, if you don't have your financing lined up, why would I show you property? I can give you a list to go drive, but I'm not an Uber driver. I'm a professional. And if you want to buy the house, you've got to be ready to buy it. And it's not a credit card and a bunch of cash isn't going to get you there, I don't think.
Right.
So what do you see the top mortgage originators in your company? What do you think that they do better than you that you're working on to improve?
They're machines, man. I'm pretty new to the game here. So we always get these top dog emails and telling us like who is, who's the biggest top producing loan officer. And it's always the same two guys. And we had a sales seminar like a week ago, and their coach was in that seminar, and he was just explaining everything, like for new loan officers, they got to meet 100 realtors in the first, like however many months. It was like first 3 months or something. And I'm working on that. Like, that's one of the things that I know I need to do to get to a certain point. But beyond that, they like every day, like this, every single day is like scheduled out exactly for what they're doing. Monday they're calling realtors, Tuesday they're calling past clients, Wednesday they're calling, new clients, and then Thursday they're out networking. So I'm getting there. I'm getting to that point, because there's a lot of life's kind of a balancing act right now. So I'm trying to do the best I can with everything that I have going on.
Sure. Do you remember who the coach was that brought you a sales meeting?
Yeah, it was Ricky Rubin.
Ricky Rubin. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that company is, what's the name of it? The something, I
can't even remember it. That's probably horrible.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's on them to mark themselves to. So the coach was at the sales meeting and giving you ideas of what to do. He's been around as a coach for a while.
Yeah.
He's coached some of the top people in the business for a while. And if you do what he tells you to do, you will get success. There's other ones I think that might be better and others that are worse. But certainly Ricky does a good job. So, well, good. So now I met you at a networking event, I think. Are you at Casey's networking event?
Yeah, Expand the Network. Yeah, exactly.
Expand the Network. So do you do events that regularly? Was that a first-time thing for you that you stumbled into when I met you? Or
that was like my second time there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I was like, I'm new to the whole networking meetings and stuff and things, but everyone's so friendly and nice, and there's no pressure to like, if you're not the best speaker, they still make you feel welcome and they listen to what you're saying. It's a great group,
It is. I like it. I go there. It's Thursdays at 3:00. You can't be after 3:02 or you get locked out.
Right. Yep.
And I've been locked out at 3:03 a few times. So, but it's a great way to meet people. And in COVID times, it's funny. I used to prospect on the phone, and you make 40 contacts a day. You'd have meaningful conversations with a couple. I can go to one networking event and meet 3 or 4 people and develop a relationship with them in a way I couldn't do that before. So right. I think, I'm trying to take advantage of the, opportunity that's in front of us, the times that we have.
Yeah. And then when we get back, it's just going to be that much cooler to see these people in person after meeting them virtually for so many times.
Yeah. Now you're in Burbank, and one of your goals is to meet real estate agents. Are you going to open houses again? Are you
Oh, yeah.
going into offices? Tell me what's your activity look like and what do you see in the market?
So I go to open houses a lot, and out here obviously it's kind of difficult to get find a loan that would be not a jumbo loan. So I'll usually tend to go to the ones where I know that it's at least close to it, to the point that like if they put enough of a down payment, then it won't be a jumbo loan, just because it's not that I'm afraid of them. It's just I know that, like, I'm just a little bit more comfortable with those right now.
With conforming loans.
With conforming loans, exactly.
I
Yeah.
was too, as originator. For me, that also we did them better. We had competitive advantage on service,
Right.
price. So I feel like why not focus on where you go? So give me an idea now. Open houses in Burbank are on what day typically, or days?
Usually Saturdays, but sometimes you'll find ones during the week. I remember I went to one last Thursday and I met two really cool realtors, Jack and Jamie from Harmon Real Estate, and they were awesome. They were selling an apartment right down the street from me, so I was just able to walk over.
Nice.
And just say what's up. Yeah, it was really cool.
Do you have a goal to get to see a certain number of people per day or per week when you go out on Saturdays?
Per week, yeah, I'd like to see at least 10 if I can.
10 open houses.
Yeah.
And what's your process like when you go to an open house? Are you looking to meet the host or hostess? Are you making a point of that? Are you not?
Yeah, I try to meet the listing agent, and what I'll do is, so we have a marketing product called Total Expert, where it's a really powerful tool where you can make print marketing for open houses, like flyers showing the financial programs and what the payments will look like. We offer email drip campaigns that we can set up with real estate partners. It's all just catered to make real estate partners and make co-branding that much easier. So what I'll do is I'll find the listing on Zillow or whatever it is, and then go on to Total Expert and then make like a mock-up flyer of that listing, and then bring it to the open house, bring like 4 or 5 copies of them, because I don't have the most ink on my printer. I need to start going to Kinko's and do it there. But yeah, and then I'll show them, bring it over as like an example of what I could do for them as far as marketing goes, and then bring some water, some other goodies that they could use.
Yeah, they're out there all day long. Typically, I don't really do open houses. I usually have agents on my team for me do those. I would say I've done one in years, to be honest. But when I started, I had to. When you're out hustling and you got to meet people, and when you're there and somebody walks in and if it's not active, we all like some companionship, cold water. Sometimes the house, you don't have the refrigerator. You're not comfortable going in someone else's refrigerator. Cold water is nice. So out of 10 open houses, how many times will you walk away with somebody that you've now met that you could call them up later and perhaps invite them to coffee or lunch or could call them back and they might know who you are, or you could send them a card or something? Right.
Yeah. I'd say, a few times. Usually they're pretty, like in this market, they're always really busy. So yeah. And I don't want to be the guy that's just kind of standing around waiting for them to have a minute. So, if it's that busy, I'll just kind of like say hello really quick, explain what I have, and then just be like, if you have any questions, give me a call, and then I'll call them like the following Monday or whatever.
Nice, when they're not as busy. Yeah. Now, one of the other strategies that for years was the number one strategy, open houses being maybe number 1A, was going to offices. Have you been to offices since COVID has opened up again?
No, not yet. I
don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're quite there yet. Are we? Are we there?
I don't know. I mean, I've been driving by them, and they just don't seem like there's anyone there. When I call them, it just goes to someone's house where it redirects the call, so it's difficult to set that up.
When I call an office number and somebody answers now, I know it's a small company, because the smaller ones, the little boutique offices, receptionists and 3 or 4 agents, I think they've gone back to their office. The big offices, I don't know. Are they ever going to go back? What do you think? There's a huge Keller Williams in Burbank, for example, I think with 500 agents. Are they ever going to get sales meetings with 100 agents again, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think to an extent, I'm sure there'll be people who, maybe like the veterans there who like really took to working to home well and think they can be just as productive without it. And they'll still, I'm sure you'll see some kind of hybrid form of it where they're there a few times a week. But I mean, I know my fiance is getting her real estate license right now, and I'm sure she would love to be able to go into an office and learn from someone there. It's going to be hard to pick it up. I mean, I know it's been hard for me to start remote. So
It's always been like that. When I was an agent, I'd been an independent broker, and then I went to work at a Keller Williams office. And look at the roster; there were like 300 agents there. It was active. And I went there on sales meeting day because the manager's smart. They always invite you on the day of sales meeting when there's a lot of people in the office. And so I joined, and I knew I wanted to join Keller Williams at that time. They were really a hot company back then, and new and exciting. And so I joined them, and I never forget. The next day I went into work, and I want to say it was like 8 o'clock, maybe 8:15. And I walked down the hallway, and I called my wife. I said, "Honey," I said, "something's wrong. There's nobody here." There was one person in the office. And she said, "What do you mean nobody there?" And because we came from, we were older. We came back from the day where, in an office, every desk was pretty much filled up and people were working and there's energy. And I said, I could roll a bowling ball down the alleyway and nobody would even hear it. I mean, there's nobody in the office. And other than sales meeting day, which would get maybe 50, 60 agents and such, it was just very rare. And I know some offices, the offices that were growing were always busy and full, but the average office over time just seemed to get emptier and emptier. And with COVID now, I don't know if we're ever going to go back to those days of those big offices. I just don't. I wonder about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope so, but at the same time, it's, I guess it's whatever people are comfortable with,
Right. Tell me about digital media, social media. I know you work for a company, and there's also different restrictions being in the mortgage than there is in real estate. Do you actively do anything in that realm as far as social media, Facebook?
For social media? Yeah, I mean, so I have a Facebook page that, every few days it'll post something new about, if there's updates to guidelines for programs. And then I'll usually reshare that to my Instagram because it only automates on my Facebook. But what I do want to get doing is making some videos probably on YouTube, just kind of informing people about new things that's going on in the industry, where the rates are, where the market's probably heading. I just, I think the more engagement you can put out there, the better off you'll be, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I have a friend who was a loan originator when she first started years ago, and I just noticed about a year or two ago, she hired a digital marketing specialist, and she started posting a lot of the Instagram-y kind of picture and short video stuff about her personally, restaurants and fashion. She's a woman, so fashion and makeup, and while she's doing her business. And so she kind of created this image. And I don't want to say she's ordinary because everybody's special, but I don't think there's anything extraordinary about her when I met her. But she's really created this image that has really driven her business to some huge numbers. So I do know in mortgages, when realtors are following you, there's a certain strategy to me that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense for me as a realtor. I'm trying to stand out from that crowd. But if I'm trying to attract that crowd, I don't know if you're trying to attract them or consumers directly for refinances or other professionals. I made a living with commercial bankers. That was my niche when I was in the mortgage business. So a little different group of people than real estate agents. So flash forward a year from now, what would you like to accomplish that you can look back at this video and say, this was my goal, I worked at it for a year, and here's where I am today?
I'd love to have a couple, go-to realtor partners that where I'm the preferred lender, I'd like I said, I'm new, so I'm still trying to just make contacts in general. So having a couple, one or two that would, always have me as their go-to would be a big deal to me. And, probably have, a bigger social media presence. Cause I was never one to use social media much in the first place. I'd have all the accounts, but I never post to them unless there's something big going on. So it's hard for me to adjust to, putting a lot of content up there. So I'd like to get better at that too in the next year.
Okay.
Probably, hopefully sooner than that too.
Okay. Well, those are two things. And I think if you keep coming to expand the business, I know Casey talks about those. He's really pushed me in my social media this past year. And that's really why I built my YouTube channel, which has been fantastic for my business. And he's really given me a lot of the step-by-step along the way. So did you get invited to he has a program next weekend that normally he charged for $350. And then he gave members like me tickets I give out for $97. This time he's made it where you get tickets for free. Did you get an invite to that?
No, I did. Is that the one on the
Networking Riches?
Yeah, it's like a 2 weeks from now or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
July 9th and 10th or something.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that. I'm going to be in Montana for my friend's bachelor party that weekend, so I'm
Oh,
not
how
gonna be able to
fun.
go. But yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
totally
maybe
could if
he does that about once every 2 months. I
okay.
think this will be the last version, which is all online, and then next time will be in person, which should be a little more fun, I think, to meet people and stuff like that. So
Yeah, for sure.
fantastic. Well, look, I want to just one more time. Let me add in here your website and your contact. So this has been a great interview, Billy. I've enjoyed our time together.
Me too.
Billy Florio, thanks. Loan officer with Crosscountry Mortgage, and he has his contact info screen here, billy.florio at myccmortgage.com. And it looks like you have a phone number on here.
Yeah, the cell's the go-to. Cell number's the go-to.
And so which, I don't know if that's on here.
818.
818-209-9411.
Yes, sir.
There you go, 818-209-9411. If you refinance, if you have currently an FHA loan and want to see if you can lower the net monthly payment by maybe getting rid of the MIP and maybe your loan to value has gotten better, you can get a little better rate and qualify for that. Talk to Billy about that. If you're looking to buy a house, particularly if you're a first-time home buyer, and if you're willing to do what Billy tells you need to do, feel free to see him to help you get prepared to buy your first house or your dream house or your next house, whichever one makes sense. So, Billy, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you on Casey's Networking from time to time. And for the rest of you, I'm Bill Gross. I'm the LAProbateExpert.com. And call me, text me, email me if I can help you buy, sell property, and or in some probate issues. So, again, Billy, thank you so much.
Bill, thank you so much, man. This was awesome.
Okay.